Good morning, and this is Scott Tanker, part of the Morning Coffee Show. And this is Breakfast with the Boss at www.radiovisionnetwork.com. Here on our show, we meet people from all aspects of business life. We try to see exactly what makes them so passionate about what they do. Why do they love what they do? And why do they want to continue what they're doing? And how can they help people out there like yourselves regarding what they do? Today we have somebody who I know for a fact you need to listen to this show. Why? Because everybody I know who's in business does this stuff. And what is that stuff? That stuff is called social media. Jeff Gibbard, how you doing? Scott Tanker.
Scott.
Jeff and I have known each other for a little while now. Jeff is with a company called True Voice Media, and it's a social business agency, which for those of you who aren't familiar with that, that's kind of new. It's new to me because social business and I should say social media is kind of a new thing for me, even though it's been around for a while. Now Jeff, who's been doing this for a longer time than his age belies himself, has so much to share with us. Jeff, thank you so much for coming on the show, number one. Number two, there's so much you do in the world. You come from a great background. You're from Temple University in the arts program, the performing arts, which is a country-renowned program. Tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are. What makes this so important to you?
Sure. So first, thanks for having me. Everybody knows I love my morning coffee. Yeah. When I went to Temple, I was there for the film and media arts program. I learned a lot about being on video and framing and telling stories. And I got really fascinated with that, moved myself into photography, and really, long story short, took up a lot of the different creative arts, copywriting, SEO, website design, graphic design, all at a time where the world was dramatically shifting from an analog world of actual magnetic film type things to a digital world with ones and zeros, where we had a lot more opportunity to really manipulate the story we wanted to tell, for better or for worse.
Let's give Temple a plug.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the Temple School of Performing Arts, and you mentioned 4 or 5 things just now that you could go into as a profession, and you learn all about them in that particular program. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think
Go Temple.
I'm all about the Owls.
Yeah,
I'm both Temple Owl and a Drexel Dragon. So Philadelphia area, love them both. But when I was at Temple, I went there to be a filmmaker. I wanted to be the next Stanley Kubrick, the next Quentin Tarantino. I loved the idea of writing stories and directing stories. And funny enough, I really didn't think it was going to benefit me from the time I graduated until present. I really said, if you're not going to go into movies, how's this going to help? But now that we do so much work with content marketing and helping businesses tell their story on video, I've actually been able to get back into script writing and doing some directing. So it's been great. But as far as what happened in the program was that you have this amazing ability at Temple to kind of choose your own path. So while you have your main course load that you go through for your major, you also have the ability to take these electives that really factor in nicely. So I did a lot of programs in photography. I actually did a study abroad program where I studied arts in Japan for 6 weeks. It was phenomenal. Nice. And I really was able to kind of, as part of my education and learning about film and media, I was able to bring in other things that were relevant. Building a website, copywriting, all of those sort of things factor into being an effective storyteller using film and video.
Especially from all the different mediums.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how you've ended up focusing on where you are now with the social media agency, the social business agency you have now, and how you got to that.
So, the story of going from wanting to be a filmmaker to today involved a number of ups and downs. From, there was a period in my life where I was just really trying to figure it out, and around 2005 I decided, that I really needed to get my business mind right. So I decided to kind of put myself on a path to going back to school and getting my MBA. And it was around 2005 where MySpace was coming out and becoming a popular thing. And it was one of the first social media. Before that was Friendster. But everything that had come out in this kind of social space is something I kept my eye on. As a kid, I used AOL chat rooms, and I used AOL Instant Messenger, and I was on Prodigy billboards, or bulletin boards, that is, and I learned a lot about the web, and I always fancied myself an early adopter. So I loved figuring out what made things work. I tried to break things and figure out, what made things work and what made them not work. So when I saw this thing called social media starting to develop, I really took an interest in it. And as I went back to school, I knew that I was going to come out and do something in marketing and advertising, but I didn't know what. And I'm in school from 2007 to 2008 in the one-year MBA program. an intensive 63 credit 1-year program at Drexel. It was really awesome. And I came out and I saw that this thing called social media was taking off. There's Twitter and there was Facebook, both becoming these networks that people know about. There was LinkedIn. And I decided that I really wanted to learn as much as I could about it and apply it to business. Because the people I went to school with were all finance, accounting, economics. And when it came time to give a presentation or to present a case around how to tell a story, they froze up and looked at me just like I did when it was time to do accounting homework.
Jeff, I find this a fascinating story. I have 2 boys, and they're some your age, and one went to Wharton on the business side, and one's applying to go on the business side. And you couldn't be more accurate about their strengths and some of their weaknesses. What you do, you bring a lot of personality to the table. You're very active and excited about what you do. So tell us a little about what you do now for some of your clients, because you've really come full circle. I find that you have an incredible background for what you do, which is unusual in this world. You're not just, as you call it, a geek. You know, you have this background to help you fulfill these thoughts and images that people want to put onto their marketing, and you apply it to your marketing sense of business, which is your MBA. And the confluence of both things is, for a parent, I'm feeling pretty proud. I don't even know you that well. So I think it's fabulous. I really do, and I think it's great. And I want people out there to understand that you can start out anywhere. It doesn't matter. It only matters where you end up.
Yeah.
And here you are. You're about to tell us about some of the cool things you do for your clients that came from all this confluence of background, of education, and of passion.
Yeah. So on that point, just to lead into that, is that, you know, all I did throughout my entire life was chase passion. I chased the thing that I was interested in. I said, you know, I'm really interested when I was 13, it was basketball. Then it was filmmaking. And
Size
then
bothered you too on basketball.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
But I have a wicked jump shot and a great crossover. But you know, I got into that. Then I love cooking, and I've been cooking since I was 7. So I started a personal chef service about a decade too early. It's really popular now, what I envisioned.
Yes, it is.
But I kept chasing the thing that I really loved to do, whatever that was. And all of those skills, as soon as I was done failing at it, I realized they became part of the story of who I am and what I bring to the table. And it's why I can be where I am now and bring all of those skills and all of that knowledge and that insight to my clients. So what I do on a day-to-day basis is I meet with business owners. I meet with people in their marketing department. I meet with HR departments, salespeople, and I help them understand the impact that social media technologies has on their business. And you know, at the deepest of levels, the reason I do this is that I firmly believe, like in the depths of my soul, that if we make businesses more social, if we allow them to appreciate and understand what their customers want, if we help them to embrace their employees and turn them into advocates for the business by treating them right and giving them a voice, and if they connect with their community around them, they're going to see it on their bottom line, and they're going to have happier customers, happier employees, and a nicer world around us. Right. So I believe that there's a mission behind what I do.
And you know, what's funny is that mission is really not any different than any other time, except that now you're using different mediums.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody always wanted to do that. In the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, my dad had a business in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. We all wanted to be that person. We just had different mediums to get there. Now you have this social media, which is instantaneous, and can be very hurtful if you're not careful, and very helpful if you are good at it. And we want to continue this discussion, but you know, we have sponsors here that pay for all this stuff.
Love it.
We're going to take a break.
Let's
ladies
let
and
him
gentlemen,
talk.
here I am with Jeff Gibbard. We're going to talk about social media, Scott Tanker, Breakfast with the Boss, part of Morning Coffee. We'll be back after these messages.
Sub some sizzle. This is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Welcome back. This is Scott Tanker and Jeff Gibbard. Here we are on the Morning Coffee Show. A part of that show is Breakfast with the Boss. Jeff Gibbard is the boss of his company. He's listed as the president and chief strategist, which to me is a little redundant, but I kind of like it anyway. Because a lot of people think presidents don't do much. They do things they don't even understand. But everybody knows what a strategist is.
Yep.
And you help people strategize. Before we left the air, we were talking, left for commercial, we were talking about some of the things that you do for people, that for your clients, that help them understand what their reach looks like, what it could look like, and maybe what it should look like. Mm-hmm. And I know that through past experiences with you, and I've known people who know you and seen some of your work, that you will take a look at the website and quickly do a little triage and respond to that in almost like a short little white paper, letting people know this is what I see. Mm-hmm. And that's courtesy of the firm, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your process.
Yeah, so our process is every client, literally every client, we've worked with more than 70 different companies over the last 5 years in virtually every industry. We have a little bit of a specialty in highly regulated industries, which you would think is kind of a weird mix for social media.
Yeah.
But our process is this. We first come in and we assess what is the business objective you're trying to accomplish. That could be marketing related, it could be sales, it could be recruiting, it could be internal collaboration.
Or multiple.
It could be any of them, or it could be multiple. And what we do is we first assess if that's what your goal is. Okay, now who's your audience that is involved in it? Who are the stakeholders that we need to consider? And we audit that. We audit your web presence. We look at what your employees are doing, what your competitors are doing, what your customers are saying. And we get we survey the entire landscape. And then from there, we look at the goals, we have the audience, and then we identify what is the messaging and what is the approach that you need to take in order to achieve your goals. So we're really building between the world as it currently exists and the world as you want it to exist. We're building that map to get you from one to the other. So that's what our process looks like. As far as what we do for clients is it really starts with a lot of research. We ask the right questions. And that is, I think, what our core strength is asking the right questions. And then, most importantly, not just delivering a 50-page strategy that they're going to say, hey, thanks, that looks great, and put it on the shelf. But instead, breaking things down in really simple, very real terms that the other person I'm talking to can understand. While we were on commercial break, we were just chatting a little bit, and one of the things that I talked about is how I am really kind of an ideal age for what I do, because I can talk with the baby boomer population, I'm 36 for all of you watching. Yes, I know I look young. But and I can talk with people that are younger than me, and I've adapted the technology of younger people just as well as them. Right. So I can really bridge that gap.
You're old enough to remember and young enough to know.
Exactly.
And to go forward.
So what I think that I do really well and what my clients really appreciate is that I simplify things that otherwise might seem very hard to grasp. I used to like to say that I like to first mystify social media and then demystify it.
Right.
Because it's just a tool to connect people, and I show businesses how to best use that tool.
Now, a lot of times social media looks at quantitative results. Do you work with quantitative results with your clients?
Absolutely. We are.
How do you deal with that? How do you make that criteria up and then monitor it and then solve it or
Yeah.
do it?
So the first thing is, again, we start with that goal. So whatever the goal is, we're going to associate the correct metrics with that. So for instance, if your goal is brand awareness, I'm not going to be measuring sales because those are different objectives.
Right.
So I can't count dollars when we're talking brand awareness.
Right.
And by contrast, I'm not going to look at brand awareness metrics like likes, comments, shares, reach, impressions when you're trying to generate sales. So we pick the appropriate metrics and then we're measuring based on that criteria. Mm-hmm. So in some cases, for instance, we might be working with a business that's trying to generate people to RSVP to an event. We do a lot with, we're working with a conference right now that's really exciting, and we've worked with other companies that do events, and our metric there would be how many people RSVP'd for that event based upon the content we were putting out there.
Right.
That would be our metric there. So we're extremely data-driven in how we do things,
Okay.
and we like to run a lot of tests on everything that we're doing. Mm-hmm. So while many of the clients that we speak to in the beginning kind of want that instant gratification, we are looking at being very realistic about how long it'll take to get results, and if you want to do things effectively, running those tests that you need to do in the beginning to figure out that proper formula so that you can get the results you want. Mm-hmm. There's a great quote that I always allude to. It's by Abraham Lincoln, and I might get the quote not exactly right, but he says, "If you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." And that's how we operate.
I think that's apropos. I understand the statement. I think the world does too. Listen, I want to tell the audience how to get a hold of you.
Yeah. And
we're going to do that again and again, but go ahead and take a chance now and let these people know where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. So for anybody that's watching and wants to know more about us, wants to get in contact with us, or at the very least, you want to learn a little bit more about how social media can work for your business, get some of your frequently asked questions answered, come to our website at truevoicemedia.com. That's the first place. And there you'll be able to download one of our white papers, which will actually be coming off of the web soon, so you better get it while it's hot. But you can sign up for that. That'll also get you on our list to get our emails when we send out incredible materials, really high-value blog posts. We have our podcast. We have all sorts of stuff there. You can also find me all over the web, and the easiest way is probably just to Google my name, Jeff Gibbard, Jeffgibbard. It's probably on the screen. And that's probably the easiest way to find me. I'm all over the web. I've got, tons of results on Google, and it's pretty easy to find me and our company.
Now, it's interesting. You've been doing this since 2008, which is a long time. And I read some information about you. Thank you very much. And something about 900 plus blogs.
Oh, yeah. At this point, it's over 1,000.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So if I could encourage anybody to do one thing, and not just for their business, but for them as a person, is to start a blog about something you're interested in. I started a blog about social media back in 2008, and then I moved it around a little bit, and I think that the earliest post at this point might be 2010 on there. But I did it to really scratch my own itch, to try and figure out what's going on out in the world and put my perspective out there. And I kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and what I learned by doing it was that I had to actually learn more about my subject matter to be able to communicate about it. And then I became a better writer as a result of doing it. And then I kind of fell in love with this idea of communicating a perspective and establishing myself, and I hate the term a little bit, but as a thought leader. And I always say that if you're going to be a thought leader, the first thing you have to do is actually think. So I've been writing on a blog called Social Media Philanthropy since about 2010. I've been writing on a Day in the Life blog, which is about my journey as an entrepreneur, about what I go through day to day. And I don't candy coat it. I don't sprinkle it with sugar and stickers and rainbows. I talk about the hard times. I talk about how difficult it is to run a business. What happens to your mindset when a client leaves? What happens when you have a great success followed by a great failure? So I'm really upfront about following your dreams, following your passion, but in a very real way that doesn't, at least attempts not to dip into platitudes or lofty
stuff.
Yeah. I don't want it to be a Pinterest quote. I want it to be real.
Mm-hmm. Do other people do that? I'm very ignorant. I'm very naive. Do other people do what you do in terms of that blogging? A lot of people do that to help either round themselves or find themselves, or just do it because this is where the world is today, and I guess I'm wondering.
Yeah, I think that there's kind of two perspectives to blogging. One is that you do it for passion. Two is that you do it for purpose, like an actual business objective or something. Right. I actually do it for both. I really enjoy writing. It's probably my favorite thing that I do.
That's your outlet.
Yeah, my Day in the Life blog at jgibbard.com is among one of my favorite things I do. Out of anything I do, it's one of my favorite things. And then just blogging professionally, I find that it's important to me because I always say that if I ever, God forbid, had to go look for a job ever again, because I love working for myself, but if I did, I would walk in with a sheet of paper with my name on it and I would say, Google me. And the reason I can do that is because I have put in the work to build...
To have that bio.
Yeah.
Google bio.
Yeah, that my resume is Google. Google me, you will see what I've done. And I really encourage people to do that, to form their own perspective, to build their own brand, to find their voice. And to give themselves a leg up on their competition who doesn't have that voice.
Well, one of the great things about, we're going to go to commercial in a second, one of the great things about the age that we're in is that you can do that. You can tell people who you are in a way that you never could before, and you can shine independently in a way that you never could before.
And no one can stop you.
And no one can stop you, and it's a great lead-in to so many things. Excuse me. We're going to take another commercial. We have so much more to talk about. I'm here with Jeff Gibbard. He's president and chief strategist of True Voice Media. You can see how much he has to add to the conversation, how much he can even add to your business. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Today's show is sponsored by Hargrove Demolition, your demolition experts. Hargrove is a family-owned and operated business right here in the southern New Jersey area, bringing you 45 years of demolition expertise. Hargrove has all your demolition needs, from emergency demolition service to demolition equipment rental. Hargrove is one of the state-approved recycling facilities right here in the southern New Jersey area. No job is too big or too small for Hargrove Demolition. Contact them today at one of their 3 locations.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When we make Beyond Natural dry dog and cat foods, we start with real meat as the first ingredient. We leave out corn, wheat, and soy. And we own where our dry food is made. 100%. Can other brands say all that? For nutrition you can trust and your pet will enjoy. Does your food go beyond? Learn more at purinabeyond.com.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Welcome back. This is Scott Tanker and Jeff Gibbard. We're here with morning coffee and breakfast with the boss. Jeff is the boss. We've been talking about social media and the rights and the wrongs and the passion that Jeff has and the things that really go on out there that people in business need to see. There's a confluence of information and mediums that you have to use to get what you want. And what Jeff has done so well is to break it down in his company into different segments, because not every segment's the same. For instance, as Jeff mentioned, branding is different than sales. So if you're going to go branding, that's a different strategy than sales are. Some people look at their website and say, I want both at the same time, just do it. It can't be that way. You need to talk to Jeff. You need to understand more about what this is all about, and I think he'll help you a lot. And of course, he gave you his phone number, and we'll give it to you again. 215-776-0874 is his cell, and 215-948-2012 is his regular phone. Recommend you call him. He'll speak to you. The man hardly ever sleeps, I know that. So, but we're going to get back to the show now, and we want you to have some tips. Jeff has been doing this for a long time, and he can give you some really good tips to help your business or help you out individually. But overall, if you don't give him a call, you're definitely losing. Jeff, tell us a little bit about the kind of things that people need to do.
Yeah, so I'm going to give a couple tips that I think anybody can do. Literally anybody that is watching can do
Even
this.
me.
Even you.
Oh
you
my
can
God.
do this. Anybody can do this. So there are a couple things I'm going to start with. The first is run a couple searches, right? Run some searches on Twitter, run some searches on YouTube, and look for your name, look for your company name, look for your product names, look for your competitor names, and look for industry terms.
See what comes up.
See what's out there.
Okay.
That alone will be a good exercise for any business that's out there. It's a great starting point to try and figure out what's out there. Now, if you don't find anything, that's an opportunity for you to generate a conversation. If you find something that's out there, it may be an opportunity for you to add to that conversation, to amplify it if you think it could help you, or it could be a way for you to take an opposing stance to be a part of that conversation and offer a differing point of view.
So that would be like a blog. You're looking for blogs?
It could be a comment on one of their posts. It could be
anything
a
you
piece
can comment on.
Yeah, it could be a piece of medium piece of media that you do in response. So if you find a video, maybe you make a video in response to that. So the idea is first figure out what's out there, and then think about what content you can create in response to it, or to amplify that.
Okay.
So that'd be the first tip. The second tip is I'd offer that most businesses don't do a good enough job with their elevator pitch or their ability to really clearly and easily communicate what it is that they do.
Right.
Now, they might be able to say in one sentence, I am a social media agency, and I help small and medium-sized businesses to generate brand awareness, leads, and close more sales. So that's nice and concise and short, right? But let's talk about an even more important thing, which is not your elevator pitch, but what is your actual pitch for how you fit in the world? And I have a really good framework for doing that, and I'm gonna show people how to do this today really quickly. So I call it ABC, and ABC is a script format that we use in videos. We use it on the web for web copy and sales copy, but it's a great way to actually communicate a point because it shows movement. So here's what it is. A stands for awful, B stands for better, and C stands for connector. And the way it works is that you can really pitch any product, any service, anything at all using the script format. So what we're going to do right now in front of everybody live, and we haven't discussed this, you can confirm this, I'm going to take whatever it is that you say, a product or a service, something I may know nothing about, and I'm going to show you how this script format works.
Okay. Would you recommend a service or a product, you think, in this case?
Take your pick.
Well, if you have enough time, maybe we'll do both.
Okay.
So the first thing we'll do a service. We'll do accounting services.
Accounting services. So here's how this works.
And by the way, folks, this is not prescripted.
This is
You
literally
just asked me
live
to
for
do
any of
this.
you watching. So
Okay.
here's how it works. Accounting services.
Yes.
So awful, better, connector.
Okay.
So you've started a business, and you really, there's so many things that go into starting a business, right? You've got to think about
Start a
payroll, you've got to think about benefits, you've got to think about all these different things, and truth be told, you're creative. So you probably don't know everything about that. So you sit down in front of TurboTax and you walk through it, but you realize at the end of it, you still don't feel like you've done everything properly. You still feel like maybe you've missed some things.
Okay.
Well, what if there was someone that you could go to? Somebody that you could go to that literally all they do every day, all day, is deal in accounting services. Well, that's why we have accountants. That's why I started my accounting service, so that I could help business owners who don't want to have to worry about that, don't want to have to think that they missed something in TurboTax, but can instead get the peace of mind they need to move their business forward.
So you take their awful feeling and you say, I'll take that feeling from you because that's what I do.
Yeah,
I
so the
make
way it
people
works is
feel
you're
better.
showing the awful and then the better and then the connector. You're showing the movement from what is awful that they're experiencing to the better. So whatever your audience is experiencing that's painful or negative, you take that as your awful, and then the B is the better. That's what you can provide from the better world, and then you're the connector.
And then you do it.
Yeah. So product. Want to do one of
So a
those?
product, I thought maybe a golf club.
Cool. Golf club. What kind of golf club?
Driver.
Okay, cool. So every weekend, You've worked hard all week, and you're thinking to yourself, man, if I could just find some way to relax. So you go and you decide to do one of your favorite things. You go play some golf. You get there with your buddies, you've got a couple beers in the cooler, and you're ready to tee off. You step up to the first tee. It's a par 4. Nice long course, big, beautiful straight green, and you go to pull a club out of your bag, and all you've got are irons. So you take a whack, and yeah, sure, you hit it straight down the fairway, but you don't have much distance. Now you've still got 2-3 more shots before you're even on the green. What do? What if there was a club that you could pull out of your bag? One that actually had a bigger club head so you can get faster speed and knock the ball a whole hell of a lot farther. Well, that's why we've created the new Titleist 9.5 driver, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Because we want you to
I'm going to buy it right now. Hold on,
right?
Here you go.
See what I mean? Because we want you to have more distance off the tee. So,
folks, this was just an idea of how Jeff can bring passion and energy and ultimately results to your business. And I can tell you a lot of businesses, especially in the summer, they get lost. They forget about their passion. You need to re-energize. You need to recharge yourself. You absolutely, everybody needs to speak to Jeff. If you haven't received any passion and energy from this conversation, then you're not living. That's all I can tell you.
I'll agree with that.
And Jeff does this all with a very limited amount of caffeine.
It's true.
There you go.
Sure, I haven't had even my first cup yet. This is my morning coffee.
Keith, how are we doing today? How much time we got left?
Great. You have about a minute.
We've got a minute. Jeff, I want you to tell the folks how again, one more time, how they get a hold of you, because they darn well should.
Yep.
And how much you would love to talk to them. You'll go to their offices. That's where they do
Yep.
their business, because I know you came to mine. And I just want I want people to realize that you are here to help. And you're not from the government, as the saying goes.
Yep.
And you really can help people with these tips.
Absolutely.
So let them know one more time how to get a hold of you. And if you have one more tip, let's give them another one.
Absolutely. So again, name is Jeff Gibbard. I'm the founder and chief strategist of True Voice Media. We're a social business agency in Philadelphia. We work right in Northern Liberties at our offices at WeWork, which is a co-working space. You can get a hold of us by going to truevoicemedia.com. You can also email me, jeff@truevoicemedia.com. You can call us up, 215-948-2012. You can just search me, Jeff Gibbard, on Google. And if you stumble across my Day in the Life blog, jgibbard.com, you get to read my thoughts and see more about how I go about my day-to-day in my business. I'm going to give you one more tip, and that tip is to go and download our white paper, because in that white paper, we're going to be giving away not just one, not two, but multiple tips about how to see the world of social media in a way that's practical, usable, and it makes sense. So you're not just chasing likes and follows, but instead you understand how to tie it back to a business objective. It's the final tip.
That's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't talk to Jeff Gibbard and you're in business, there's a good chance you're not going to be in business that long, because he is going to have one of your competitors working for him, and they're going to go blow right past you. So if I'm you, call Jeff immediately, have a conversation with him, let him show you how he can be of some help, and then go from there. Jeff, it's been fantastic. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Scott.
much. Listen, the web world is a crazy world. We all know that. So it's important to get involved. It's important to get in front of everything. It's important to maximize the ability that the computer world lets you do. And Jeff and his company and his people and his employees will help you do that. So again, I think you really should consider this. Have a chance to speak to Jeff. Have a chance to have him tell you what your website's all about, because he'll take a look at it for you at no charge, courtesy of the firm. But it's important that you see another person's perspective, especially one with so much experience that Jeff has, how your website looks to other people, how your business looks to other people in the web world. Thanks so much for being here. This is Scott Tanker signing off. Breakfast with the Boss, part of that great morning coffee show, www.radiovisionnetwork.com. We're here each and every Thursday to help you understand the business, the passions that people bring to the world. Please be with us each and every Thursday. Have a great week. We'll see you soon.
Saving your business money is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Tanker Consulting Services, a payment solutions expert, will show you how with a free, detailed, written analysis illustrating your cost savings. We usually uncover savings between 10 and 25%, and sometimes more. We can help your business succeed by providing reliable and secure merchant payment solutions such as merchant services programs, point-of-sale systems, and ATM machines. TCS, one of the leaders in regional credit card processing consulting, offers electronic payments to merchants locally and nationwide through our preferred vendor programs.
We work to keep business costs down with a comprehensive suite of quality products, services, and customized credit card processing programs exclusively tailored for your company. TCS is convenient, reliable, and innovative, with customer service available 24/7, 365 days a year. Our in-depth industry knowledge, partnership strategy, and innovative processing solutions allow for a specialized approach to providing merchant bank processing with 100% full fee disclosure. TCS is one-stop shopping for all your merchant services solutions. Our clients save money 100% of the time. Trust Tanker Consulting Services, the knowledgeable, professional, and friendly provider of secure payment services. We set the standard by which others are measured. Call now for a free written analysis. 609-922-0201.